to a story that we've been focusing on throughout the day here on eNCA, and that is the issue of water. We know from the recent Blue and Green Drop Watch reports that many municipalities face severe water problems. It's estimated that a third of the country's taps produce water that has quality concerns. Now, Johannesburg, which does not have water quality problems, as far as I know, has been battling for some weeks now with supplying water to certain areas. Let's discuss the problems in the city and beyond with Dr. Ferrial Adam. She's the executive manager of WaterCan, which is part of OUTA, the organisation undoing tax abuse. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm wondering if, in your mind, because there are so many challenges around water. First of all, we're a country that doesn't get enough rain. There's poor planning, neglected maintenance. We drink and use too much water as citizens. Our infrastructure's falling apart. We've got corruption. Our rivers and dams and waterways are polluted. Out of all of that, which is the one aspect that worries you the most about our water?
Sure. Thanks for having me on your show, Sally, and that's quite a question. I think that they all so interlinked that it's hard to choose one particular thing. But if I think that what we need in the short term, then I think the corruption and the infrastructure failure are the two things that, for me, we need to get fixed before we can even tackle adapting to climate change and climate shocks.
And it's interesting with the census report coming out this week for 2022 that shows that there are 15 million people in Gauteng. That's a population growth of more than 20% in 10, 11 years. That's a huge growth. We know that many people flood to Johannesburg desperate for work, particularly now that times are hard. Have we seen our infrastructure being expanded to manage so many more people?
Not at all. I think that if we could look at 10 years ago, we had the projections, but we didn't plan accordingly. But also, Sally, you rightfully said, if they did plan accordingly, then money went missing, as we've seen with Hammanskraal. And it took only people dying from cholera for the minister, for every spotlight to be on Hammanskraal. But that has been a 15-year problem. So yes, I think that the planning for growing numbers of people in Gauteng was just the logical thing to do, but that was not done. Now, when they're saying that there's a high demand for water, you wonder, but have you not done the planning?
Yeah. And speaking of Hammanskraal, we've had a reporter there today, and we're going to hear her story later in the show. But there are allegations that people are having to pay for water from the water tankers. There's concern that it's in certain people's interest to make sure the water doesn't flow from the taps, because then the water tankers get the business. Have you come across this? Is this a real new industry?
It is a real mafia industry, I want to add. And I think this has been going on it's not new to Gauteng, it's not new to Hammanskraal, it's been going on in the Eastern Cape and KZN as well. Wherever we've needed to use water tanks to supplement water supply, there have been a kind of a growth of people who want to have control over the water systems. And they not only apparently damaging infrastructure in some places so that they can continue getting their contracts, but they're also charging people for water which they're not supposed to be doing. And this, Sally, is a national government competency, because the water tanker industry is not properly regulated. Who checks how often they clean their water? Where are they abstracting their water? Some checks and balances need to be in place, and that is not there.
Let's talk about Johannesburg. There have been ongoing water supply problems, South Hills in particular and surrounds. It seems our water quality is still quite good here, according to the Blue Drop Watch report, if my memory serves me correctly. What is the problem in Johannesburg? Do you think it's simply that we just don't have enough reservoirs?
So it's a few things. One is the fact that over the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years, we have not spent the amount that we need for maintenance. Now, you can't expect the infrastructure that we have to just continue going and being strong when you've got growing population, growing use, and you're going to have leaks, you're going to have burst pipes. But the amount that there was people that Rand Water, Joburg Water was supposed to spend on infrastructure maintenance, they did not do that. In fact, it's estimated that they should spend between 5 and 6% of the cost of the asset on maintenance. And I guarantee you, not one of them have done more than 2%, and that 2% would be hopeful. So that's the one thing, is the upkeep of the maintenance. The second thing is that there's a lot of blame game going on. So Rand Water will point the fingers at Joburg Water would then point the fingers the other way. And then you've got the city mayor who will tell the minister, don't come and deal with my house. You sort issues in your house. It's ridiculous. Water is life. And people need water. They, even the areas that have been cut when they have water tanks, the elderly, the people who are sick cannot go and carry those buckets. So what we need is all these levels of government to actually speak to each other. We need a collective response. We need an honest response. There's a lack of transparency. The other thing we're going through right now, Sally, and we will be releasing a statement on this, is the budgets. The mayor has promised a whole range of things in this week on how they're going to build reservoirs and fix pipes, etc. But where's that money coming from? City of Joburg has supposed to release their budget earlier this year. That's what all municipalities have to do. It's October. That budget's not even on the website.
Yeah, and just that example speaks to the problems at municipal level. Many municipalities are simply running out of money, and Johannesburg, of course, has its own problems. Thank you so much for your insights. Much appreciated. Dr. Ferrial Adam, the Executive Manager of WaterCan, which, of course, is part of OUTA, the organisation undoing tax abuse.